I have. All right. That was a wild ride within itself. It was funny.
I was just like,
It's like in the moment. Like, when is she gonna
just let her
stop?
get it all out.
Yeah, let me get it out. It's like, okay, I'm done wasting time. It's exactly what was happening. It wasn't wasting time. It was just it was a blip in moment in time of concentration on like something that was
the practice of being present. Okay, like we all was there with you too. Just so you know,
literally,
like we all were there.
Okay, this is what it's like to be here and not have to wander off somewhere in space and be like, okay, I can't wait till this person stops talking. But but you have to like hold on to the fact that listen sometimes, even in the bullshit, there might be something.
No, seriously, because like really, we was with like
hyper present to the toe. Y'all like, okay, this is exactly what happened. So the other day, other day I was looking out the window and there's like this citrine stone that sits on the windowsill. And I just wanted to look at the moon. That's all I wanted to do. Because the front of our home faces the east, like where the sun comes up. So I'm like, ooh, like and then the moon just happened to be in the east. So I was like, oh, great. Y'all. I barely opened the curtain and I didn't have my shoes or anything on. And this big ass stone, the size of a small child's head, fell on my left big toe, y'all.
Oh, goodness. Split it clean in half.
And it created another citrine, like half of itself. I was like, God damn. It was like, yo. It really was like
clean in half, yo.
It literally was like, I want to break off from you. And my toe braced it and then it hit the floor. But it almost broke my damn toe.
It was wild.
But yeah, it was like numb.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Ridiculous. So she's been collecting herself. She's been collecting and gathering all of herself since that moment in time, because that was crazy. Like it was crazy. And so it's been healing, and she's been, Miss Independent. I'm not crippled. I'm gonna still do and do and do. Yeah, she's been healing her toe, and
I'm gonna say
she had us with her and her thoughts of her toe, because we're all practicing the art of being present.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Us with her toe for about a good 2 minutes. Yeah, it wasn't that long, but it was present. It was like, wow, this is where we are right now.
So, like, if I'm to look at this, like, I'm going to go a little deeper into this analogy because I know we got stuff going on, but this is funny. So I was thinking, like, dang, like, when you are in... Damn.
Go ahead.
Okay, it's like, so when you are in, like, reflexology, you look at the feet as a part of your body with the organs, the head, the stomach, the spleen, all that other stuff. So I'm like, damn... I'm glad the stone hit my toe and not my head.
Right. That would have been...
But sometimes maybe, like, I have to look at it, too, like that energy that is, like, that when it happens, because you're like, damn, what happened? What'd you do to deserve that? I'm like, I didn't do anything to deserve that. But then again, I can't even sit there and be like, I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know.
No, we said it was a fluke.
We said it was a fluke. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was.
Matrix. It glitches
that's
all
what
the
it
damn
was.
time.
That's what it was. It was a fluke in the damn system. That's what happened.
Yeah.
But on like even a like higher level, I'm like, damn, like it could have, the stone citrine could have just unblocked some shit within my feet. I don't know.
Wow.
To like maybe deep. I needed a good bam to release whatever energy needed to be released out of there. Hell, I don't know. I'm looking at it on the positive side at the end of the day.
That's hilarious.
But yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, I was like, what is the lesson in this for you?
That's what it was.
Right. What is the lesson?
What is the lesson?
Like, bitch, this is just a fluke. I didn't do anything good.
And it literally was. It was like, how,
hilarious.
The way it was positioned on the windowsill, you're just like, how is this thing gonna fall? Like, how is it gonna fall? Like, why and how did it fall?
Yeah, y'all. This is where she still is to toe, because this is where we all still are. See how that works?
I'm done. Now we had some really dope revelations earlier, some uploads, downloads, whatever you want to call it, streams. Streams. We had some streams
of income coming in.
Coming in literally, and streams of data.
It was amazing.
Coming in earlier, and we're going to dissect and get into it a little bit deeper.
Process the information, because it was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're sitting in front of our beautiful artwork. It's like a cloth on it over like a wood,
like a tapestry.
Canvas, tapestry, yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's of the chakra system, and it's beautiful. Like it has all the flowers within the body, from the root all the way to the crown. And Jeid had an awesome theory going on that she felt, and from there we just gained a deeper understanding, and it was pretty amazing.
So I thought it was really cool, because it's what we're moving into. That's like you said, I love the fact that you were hyper present to like, this is what we're moving through right now.
Right.
Like this is how. Go ahead. Yeah.
It started with the chairs.
Yeah. Giving gratitude to the chairs.
Yeah. Giving gratitude to the chairs. And you was noticing how during this time every year you're like, babe, like my expansion, my expensiveness, I know what it is, my expansiveness.
And my X is my expensiveness. They both have X. They're both expanding. Okay.
Right. And you was like, we're going to have something new every single year, which is what we already experienced that with you. So, but you were hyper present to that fact. And it was like, we do this every year. And I'm like, I love it. It's a dope ass experience of being able to change your reality in your home to a different feeling.
Yes.
You do that all the time.
Yes.
And so it started with the chairs, and then it was like, you're standing on the solar plexus right now, yellow. And he was like, and our altar's green too. And then the new chairs we got is blue. Okay, are blue. And so it's just like amazing. There's so much more details into the story, because even with the colors, we were like, oh wow.
We have orange chairs. Yeah.
Yeah, the chairs were orange. The carpet is yellow. The altar's green. And then to the right of the altar are the blue chairs.
With the green pillows.
With the bluish green pillows. Yeah, and I was saying like how they kind of like integrate with each other.
Yeah.
But so then that's what led you to the picture. You just started talking about the chakra systems, and you was focused on the 3. So, what did you see at first?
So my first initial thought was like, when people come in, like I was thinking of what they're going through. But before that, it was like, you had beautifully, that was after that. So when my first theory, I'm thinking I'm going back and doing the whole going back and remembering thing. Okay, yes. So oh my goodness. The sacral chakra is where we all, I feel, when we first start out in life, get like wounded at. Like this is where we're wounded the most.
Right.
And from that wounding produces like that guilt and shame in the heart. Like it produces the guilt and shame into the heart, which then also blocks our throat chakra. So I was pinpointing like those 3 chakra systems being like some of the major ones that are blocked, but it starts from childhood, the guilt and shame into the heart, and then just the taboos that we lived in, not speaking about the thing.
Right. And then I was inspired, because I'm like, I saw more. I was like, I see where you're going, because I'm like, you activated me. So I'm like, wow. And I'm like, and this probably goes for everyone, but what if the root chakra was connected to the ancestral and the genetic, trauma that's passed on through your lineage? What if that represented that, because it's grounded, it's the roots, is what you come into this world with. And from that manifests the sacral chakra blockages, which is through the womb healing, because it's all encompassing. It's just the trauma. The womb. And then that sacral chakra trauma blockage then manifests as, identity. Like now you're confused, you're not sure of who you are. And then from that creates the blockages within the heart, which is of the guilt and the shame. That's like that when people say like let it go, I feel like they're talking about the heart space. I feel like they're talking about the heart space, not just like forgetting a memory or, you know, toxic positivity, like everything's okay, or creating these super strong boundaries where it's like, oh, you're blocked from my life, whatever. But I feel like the letting go piece is letting go, or like forgiving, harnessing like ultimate forgiveness in your heart space. So those blockages are then manifested, like you said, into the throat chakra as hiding. Like you're not being seen. You're living a lie.
Say that.
You're not living in your truth. You're pretending. You're
because
still.
That's the identity blockage.
That's yeah. All of it's connected. And then from the throat chakra blockages is like, yeah, now you're not open to receiving. You're not open with your crown chakra to receiving spirit, miracles, opportunities, people, places, things to raise your frequency. And so then I was like, wow. So when people come in, they tell it, it's in the words. What they say. It's in the words. We're going to be able to tell where they are in their words. But no matter where they are on, you know, the chakra system, like wherever the blockage is coming from, we're going to be able to regress and see like, oh, wow, like this is how this is tied to your identity. This is how this is tied to your womb. This is tied to your, you know, ancestors. Like we're going to be able to help them regress and progress. Because as above, so below. So the healing is a two-way street. The healing goes up and it goes down.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Every time. Y'all, she silenced me with that.
Babe.
Silenced me. I was just like... You took it to the ethereal, and where we were just dancing and like flowing and making love, like
earth, okay?
We were all in it. We were just everybody's like, "Oh my god, this feels amazing." I'm like, "Yes, it does." And then it's like, "Whoa,
love you, babe.
Whoa, love you too." But yeah, literally, it was absolutely beautiful. And it's, to me, it's not theory, it's fact.
It's facts for us.
It's facts for everybody.
Ooh, period.
Yeah.
It's facts for everybody.
It's facts for everybody.
Yeah.
It's just being able to uncover the truth, because I feel like at the end of the day, we get a lot of have truths, and it's just like,
which are lies.
Yeah. So it's not, I'm not gonna say it's impossible. It just doesn't make sense not for this information just to come out, for it to be like theoretically theory.
I feel you on that.
Because we're feeling into it. I'm like, yeah, that, I mean, and then not only feeling into it, logic, reason, decisions, all that stuff, is agreeing with it.
Right. The critical, what is it? Critical thinking?
The critical mind.
Yeah, the critical mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit's like, yep, green all the way through.
So like when you can, that's where you can, logic and spirituality. So like when you were explaining it, there was a visualization that went on, like a split second of a visual that went on. And then critical mind was like, yeah, like that makes sense. Like, why doesn't it not make sense? That root is what we're coming into, like the ancestral, that's the bloodline, that's the roots. That this is what we're coming through in as.
Yes.
And we're carrying it, you know? Yeah. And then, boom, sacral.
Yeah.
Sacral comes online, I believe, at the same time that the critical thinking comes in line, which is between, it starts at like 7 or 8 or something like that.
Yeah, like the womb. Yeah.
And then boom, solar plexus identity. That's so crazy. We all have identity crises. We're all in identity crises.
We're all confused about who we truly are.
Yeah.
What we truly want, what we love, what we desire, what we don't have, like everything.
And that's why, and then that heart space takes a lot.
You don't even know how you're holding on.
Takes a lot.
You don't have the words to know how you're holding on. It's so layered and it's so deep. You know what I mean? Like you heal one layer of yourself, you think that you're good, you're done. No, you have many layers to go. Many layers. Even the residue of something, even though it's so minute and it's so subtle, is very sabotaging because it's in the crevices, you know. So
agreed. Yeah, so man, like, so that was like the beautiful, we added more to it, but of course it was the beautiful revelation.
Yeah.
And I feel like this recording was if we were going to find or dive deeper into it, like if there was going to be more, are we going down, 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 down? Says my crabby Cancer in, not in a crabby way, y'all, but like she's the crab.
I'm all over.
See, she dives. She goes far. Like you're like Geronimo. You're Geronimo.
Baby, you're the Scorpio. You even deeper than I am. You in the darkness, way down here. So you want me to go deeper? You want to take it to the dark? You want to take it to the dark?
We can see in the dark though. Like that's the beauty of it. We can see in the dark, so it's not. So true. It's comfortable.
It is. No, let's go into our story, like what we're going through right now. So a couple of days ago, even before this beautiful realization with the chakra systems, a couple of days ago, we were at one of your Airbnb cleans, and I was sitting outside, and I had a breakthrough. You were inside, cleaning, and you also had a breakthrough. And so my breakthrough was my inner child surrendering to trust, because in that moment I had the opportunity. I was super present to it. Had the opportunity to do and nurture myself in the ways that I said I was going to, meaning I was going to call PayPal, pay my credit card, okay, check the status, just check in on it. I had this avoidant attachment style when it came to my money and when it came to my accounts. Like I would just have so much shame and guilt around like checking my stuff. I was already feeling not enough, already feeling like I owe money, already feeling like, the low vibration. So I had this avoidant style when it came to like my finances and my accounts and everything. And I knew that this was an issue, but not knowing how it's happening or how it's playing out, I wasn't able to catch the cycle until recently, just the continuation of doing the work, releasing and things like that. And so, so I had the opportunity to do what I said I was going to do, which was check up on two of my accounts and make payments on both of them. Like, just go ahead and do it, right? Like, boom. So as I'm doing that, and I'm calling who I need to call, and I'm making the payments, everything is so smooth. It's actually enjoyable. Like me actually paying it attention and actually not being avoidant. Like I'm doing the opposite, right? Like I'm checking in. I'm looking at the statements. I'm like giving gratitude here and there. I'm checking I'm nurturing myself, right? And so as I'm doing that, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling excited, and it's like the momentum's building up. So the entire experience of like taking care of my credit cards turned into like, oh yeah, you have a $583 limit on this one. After your payment, it's in great standing. You're good to go. Yep. And let me refer you to this person so that you can take care of this. Yep. No problem. Right. So smooth. And then, that was it. So, and then I made the reservations to our Costa Rica retreat. So I just felt so safe and secured and nurtured in that moment. It's like, wow, the moment that I let the old behavior go was the moment that I invited the new behavior in, and it felt so safe in that moment. Like I was reassured that this is safe. This is safe, And so that was my breakthrough. And then you also had your breakthrough with the hiding energy, which took us even further down.
So like my hiding energy comes from like past situationship, and just past relationships, period. So it's just realizing like, so basically we were beginning our, what do you want to call it? Communication within the LGBTQ community, which is like being seen. And we began to get into those spaces.
You began.
Yeah, so I began to get in those spaces, and without any thought. So being at the Airbnb clean, what had came to mind was like, yo, like why haven't I been in these groups, or why haven't we been in these groups from the beginning? Like what the hell is going on? And then it just came to the fact, well, like, girl, because you don't want to run into your exes. You don't want to, you're not trying to be in these communities because of this, that, the third, or you're avoiding like wanting to be seen. And like, avoid that you're happy. Like, you want to avoid all these stupid ass things. And it's like, that is and within that moment, you're like, damn, that's crazy. Like, how would I'm hiding. Like, why am I hiding?
And it was like, why am I projecting? Why am I thinking that there's going to be something
bad?
Like somebody has an issue with me?
Yes.
There's none of that going on. Like, if I run into them, I run into them and say, hey, what's good? You know what I'm saying? It's nothing. And
that's I think, and there's where it, like, in lies guilt and shame. Like, that's where
the crevices, they be in the crevices.
So, because it's like, you can't change your past with the people that you ran into. You ran into these people for a reason.
Right.
And that's where, as in our experiences, we want to hold on to things that no longer serve us. They served us for that time.
Right.
And whatever happened within that time, it's like, forgive yourself, forgive the other person, because
it happened, it's done.
You've grown from that. Well, you got to realize, of course, come to that realization that you know you've grown. Okay, let's say that first.
Right.
Or you're going to repeat the cycle.
Right.
But I was like, I'm not repeating this. I'm not going to. And then I leveled up and moved on. And that's how me and Coney met, blah, blah, blah. The whole love story. But yeah, man, like,
yes.
That was so much. It was a wild ride, because the thought processes going into all of that. I'm telling you, it's true. I'm remembering shit that it was like that happened in between.
Exactly. So yeah, you realized in that moment that, like, you were hiding, and that action, that behavior, if it's happening in one area of life, y'all, it's happening in every other areas of life. Wherever you feel most blocked is because of that energy, that hiding energy that you feel. Yeah, that solar plexus identity. And I think that your hiding energy stemmed deeper than past relationships. It stemmed from your sexuality, of course, and like just the judgment and everything you
definitely because that definitely is a part of it, for sure. For relevancy too, like, that's what's recent. But yes, if we go back, it is that just
we've uncovered that.
Not like wanting to show your accomplishments. I went through that whole thing.
Yes, you did. Wow.
Yeah, not wanting to.
Wow.
You know,
over a span of days, y'all.
Yeah, and then just like allowing my light to dim so others' lights can shine. So that's pretty much the whole analogy of that. And the examples were just just like going into these spaces and shrinking.
We're all familiar. We all have done it.
Yeah,
it's hiding energy.
So so we're stemming from there, which again piggybacks off Queen Coney's like whole, if you're doing it one space, that you're doing it in all. So it's just so subtle.
Exactly. And then after that, the hiding energy conversation or realization with us both later on that night, or maybe the next day, was when we were present to the motherfucking I misplaced my things energy, which is another behavior connected to that hiding energy, like not being present. Remember the art of not being present?
Absolutely. I definitely remember.
We recorded a guide on that. Y'all, tap into that. But that was, you literally broke it all the way down as far as like what we were in the experience together, super present to it happening. It wasn't like you were telling a story. It was actually happening. And this behavior revealed itself that you no longer
subscribe to misplacing anything. So because it was all about how I wanted to feel. And then basically when I lose things or I'm gonna say, I identified it as losing it. Queen Coney has also said she's programmed within me is like misplacing it, which is facts, because it is just, it's misplaced. It's not lost. It's never lost. So yeah, and then the angst from that, my keys, I used to lock my keys in the car all the time. So it was a bunch of things that I remembered because of that, and it's like, and how I felt. And it's like, no, I don't want to feel that way. And then birth chart was in there. There's so much, y'all. Like it's in,
tap into the conversation.
It's in another conversation.
So it's the art.
I can regurgitate it.
It's the art of not being present. Okay?
And then when you become present, it's like,
holy cow.
Wait a minute. And then you're actually releasing. The release and the refrain.
Yeah, we described it as dust bunnies, right? Like the dust bunnies be clogging up your vision. It's the behaviors that sabotage you. It's the subtle things, the thoughts, the words, the little things. And I described it as like having tape and like patting a glass window, like getting all the little pieces of dust that you can't see off the filter.
Yes.
That's what that was like. You like when you become present to the areas where you was like not present before, like you're noticing new things, you have the advantage. Like you're gonna come across words, sentences, thought processes. I mean, it's gonna come out so clear, and you're gonna reframe that bitch. Like you are going to grab it by the throat, and cancel it out. And that's what's been happening.
Mm-hmm. Like, because it's just even a step further. It's like we have also discussed. It's like once the trauma has been released, right? Like once the childhood, the inner child is healed, you are healed, you're moving into a much more expansive space, then Coney and I are in a position now to where we are now more present to our thought processes, and the trauma is not taking up space anymore.
Right.
It's not taking up space to where we're not present to all the thoughts, because that's that filter that has been explained as far as like the critical mind, the filter, the critical mind not being able to filter out everything that comes in. But now that it's becoming unclogged, we're able to catch the thought really quickly, reframe it, and then action that same day, same moment, millisecond, doing something different.
Yeah, we're disrupting the pattern. Like
that's what it feels like.
Negative patterns. Yeah, you're disrupting it because it's kind of abrupt. Like you'll say like, oh,
I don't. Yeah.
Well, an example was, we live here, and you was like, no, we don't.
Right.
And it was like, oh wow, and that was a whole that was so just catching the words, the phrases. Like catching
every single
subtle, you can't miss it. It doesn't align. It doesn't align, and you're gonna feel it immediately. And you really have to disrupt the pattern by reframing it out loud. Like if you say something like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and there's nothing to be sorry about, reframe that. Oh, I apologize. I retract that. I'm not sorry.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what it's been like. And then the doors to ukulele.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
The opportunity for ukulele came through for you, which is wow.
It's fun. It's fun.
It's
a whole library experience. Just basically the kid in me, curiosity, which is the kid in me. I allow the kid to come out, and it's like, ooh, who's ukulele? And then Joe comes and he explains it's his, gives me 4 notes and a plethora of songs to play with these 4 notes, and I have been taken off ever since. But then I was referred that the downstairs, basically you could check out a ukulele, so I have a ukulele for the next 4 weeks. I've touched it every day,
right?
And it's wild. Now I've been introduced to like creating like beginner ukulele classes at the library, so
like she was asked if she could start hosting ukulele classes. That is hilarious.
Yeah, so it's just like that was
beautiful.
That was like a very like childlike, very good feeling energy too. So it was just like, yeah, like this is the inner child wanting to play, touch all the instruments, play all the instruments, just doing it, just having that joy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was fun. That whole experience was really cool. But then do you remember like we had the whole I don't have, remember catching that? Like I was in the back.
Yeah.
Because okay, first of all, like I'm a true minimalist. I'm like literally going through all my clothes and getting rid of them because I want to begin and or start a new wardrobe. So basically getting rid of everything. So I have only a few items, right? But check this out though. It was already time to do laundry. So I was, getting out of the shower and was figuring out what I was going to wear for the day, and immediately thoughts of like, I don't have, and it was like, wait a minute. I had to just like, I was just sitting back there like, no, because I do. Oh, here's a shirt. Here's my pair of underwear. And then here is my, a pair of pretty awesome breathable jeans. And I instantly had things to wear. And then also the things that I still have stuff to wear. I just needed to wash it.
Right, y'all.
And that's it.
It'd be that's the reframe right there.
I just needed to wash the clothes, and my clothes are there. Like
exactly.
I have clothes.
Right? Like the other affirmation was because you wanted to say, I can't find my phone.
Right.
You was like, I know where it is. I just have to find it. These are the affirmations. These are the actual sentences that you want to reframe those thoughts with, y'all.
Period.
As simple as that. Like, instead of saying I'm broke, no, you're not broke. You're not broke. You're discovering in ways the money wants to come to you. Simple.
There you go.
You're showing up behind the creation that's going to bring you the money. Like, you really have to reframe your thoughts, like, to your truth. What is the truth? You know?
Yeah, and then how you know that it's true is how it feels. If it feels good.
Yeah.
If it feels good.
And
Shout
if it
out to
doesn't feel
energy.
good, yes, if it doesn't feel good, y'all, then it's not aligned. Point blank, period.
It's the feeling, not thinking. Aligned. It's not thinking at all. It's how does it feel?
How does it feel? Yeah.
Hey, y'all, I'm a shamanic heart healer, so listen.
Yeah, you create space. Like,
let's go.
Removing these blockages, because we've been removing blockages for the last 4.5 years in every single chakra system. In every single one, we've been doing work, and they're all connected. So wherever you heal in one area of life, you're going to automatically heal all the other areas of life. Literally, not simultaneously. Or some, you're going to heal all the other areas, all the other parts of yourself. It's unraveling.
That makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense because they're all connected. So it just automatically starts aligning.
Yeah.
As you go, as you move through them,
and you
move through them.
You move closer to the frequencies that your miracles and your blessings and your true abundance lies. Like, you're moving closer to it. You're aligning yourself with it when you start to release these blockages, and you can tell because of the real life things that happen, like the things that happen in your reality.
Yeah.
I didn't even mention this, but with me healing my inner child and, you know, and moving forward, disrupting those patterns, we closed the whole account.
We did.
We closed the whole account. You know what I'm saying?
We did.
Like, settled it. Our credit is going up. You know what I mean? Like, we're clearing all the, you know, petty debt that needed to be cleared in order for us to be open to receiving more opportunities.
Yep. A lot of, that happened. A lot of things took place. So, so yeah, like, I'm just super proud of us for even being present to the fact that we can take folks back.
Yeah.
And bring them to these moments of like, oh wow, like you said, I've gone through this too, or I'm experiencing this too, and oh wow, I can identify now what it looks like, and
that's
because it's the identity. It was always the identity with me, like, because I always say I have to experience it first to really understand what it is, because if we're walking on this, it's almost like the feeling of like, okay, you had an opportunity where that critical filter was blocked. You took in so much information. The conscious mind was throwing up at this point. So you're just like, you're taking on all this information. Okay, so for me, this is my experience. It's like, what do I do with the information if I've never, I can't teach from where I have not been. So it's just information to me at this point. You know, and then finally, I'm not even going to say finally, I'm going to say now the information that's here is revealing itself. That's what I want to say, because I am being present to it.
Right. Can we give them a little context on the critical mind from the professor that was teaching the hypnotherapy? Because I think that will help them make a lot of this conversation make sense.
Okay.
When it comes to that.
Yeah. So if you look at the brain really quickly, so if you just picture the brain and then you look at it as 88% of it is your subconscious mind, and then 12% of it is your conscious mind. It is like your logic, your reasoning, your decision making, and your will.
Power. Yeah.
So the critical thinking, the critical mind is like, it's almost kind of like the bridge. There's like a bridge. It's a filter that is between the unconscious and the conscious mind. Now, as children, this thing is not developed yet. So that's why the terminology, like kids are like sponges, comes into play. It's like everything, they're taking in everything. They don't have a filter whatsoever.
To say this is bad, this is good, this is not safe. They don't have that.
They don't have that filter at all, unless again they have hyper aware parents and they're teaching it. But 9 times out of 10, they still don't have the filter. Yet. They don't have it. But then something miraculous happens around like 7, 8, 9. The critical mind begins to develop. And then once that development is, you start having reason, you start looking at things differently, like, oh, this is good, or oh, this is bad, or what have you. Now, fast forward, hopefully you got that information. 12% of that is your, what I just described earlier. Now, at some point, as you're growing from the 7, 8, 9, all the way up until you're around 20, 19 or 20, 19, there's this ability to reason, to make solid decisions. But because of the overstimulus, like distractions that we got going on, the phones, the news, the everything, it's overstimulated. So now our filter becomes blocked. All the information that, as like, again, we turn like kids, all this information is coming in. It's just flooding. It's not being filtered. It's going in.
It's running amok.
And running amok, literally. So then basically, there's a point in life where, like, again, where they got that terminology, you're just obeying, you're just running like you're just living. Surviving. You're existing. You're existing. You're existing with no intentions of a purpose. You're just, I'm getting up for work. Like, you literally are a robot. Right? But then, again, with all the healing, with everything that, takes place and begins to happen, the filter can, and it's happening with us, the filter can get unclogged. It will get unclogged, but it also takes that work to do it. And this is where we're at. As far as now, the critical mind is on. Trauma is no longer, our childhood trauma is no longer taking up space. Now we're in the process of grabbing these thoughts that were always there and then going through the AOC and then the process, release, and refrain, and then the becoming.
Yeah, literally, it's all happening simultaneously. It's so beautiful.
So so once we become more present, that's where the critical mind can become functioning. It can function again to where you do those logic, reason, willpower, decision, and willpower comes back online.
Yeah, I wanted to highlight this too. When you're born up until the moment that your critical mind starts to develop, you're already overly stimulated because you're being exposed early to so many things. That's what you had come up with.
Yes, you're right.
Well, it was for me, like I was already over by the time my critical thinking was developing. It was developing from a distorted view, from a distorted perspective, because I was already overstimulated. So it's almost like those of us who have been exposed to trauma from a young age, you're receiving all that information and taking it at face value. And then your critical thinking is being developed. So that critical thinking and reasoning, decision-making, willpower, all those things are going to happen from the perspective of being overly stimulated. So so it wasn't filtering at all.
It was just like,
there was no filter to
begin with. It was just there. It was already clogged.
It was created in the clog. It
there
was
you
created
go.
in the, in the filth, it was created already in that. And that's what it means to be born into this reality with automatic negative thought patterns.
We all. Yeah.
No, we all are.
We all are.
Because it's the trauma that our ancestors didn't get to heal.
Damn, we're taking it all the way back.
You wanted to go to the darkness.
I did.
We got there quick.
Let's go.
We got there super quick, So it's like we all are, and I say we all because we're talking to community. We're not talking to people who don't know what we're talking about. We're talking to people who are going through the same exact thing. So, when you think about like your family's trauma, like it's obvious the ones that you know about, and you can see it in you too, you know, that like that's where the automatic negative thought processes come into play. Mm-hmm. You're born into it. That's the root chakra, you know? And so you already know the family curses, quote unquote. Everybody is aware of it. You know, it just takes courage to actually detach from it and to reframe it, destroy it, you know? But that goes into the sacral. It's just like, wow, a lot of us have the same traumas or something similar. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. For real. So we're all moving through womb trauma. We're all moving through healing the womb, right? Like, how many sexual partners have your sexual trauma, right? Like, a lot of us, I mean, who hasn't? You know what I'm saying? Who hasn't? So that's that womb, you know, that's where the womb healing, the sacral chakra comes in, because now there's distortions and blockages within our sexual bodies and our sexual expressions, you know, and that blocks creativity. So you're not showing up in your truth or in your authenticity when it comes to like your gifts and your skill sets, because you're not exploring it. You may have some familiarity with it because, you know, there was moments in life where you got a peek of like your true gift. You were immersed in it. You have that feeling, that memory in there, you know, but it's not the focus. And so then that moves into identity. You're confused about who you are because you've been living a lie. You're not living who you are because of all the exposure. Remember, there was no critical thinking. There was no filter for like 12 years. So you're just taking in all of societal norms, all of environmental and economical and, you know, generational statistics. You know what I'm saying? You're taking all that shit on because it's being exposed to you. You know? So your identity, your sensuality, like your solar plexus is blocked. And then, of course, that manifests into the heart as, you know, guilt and shame. This society makes us feel guilt and shame for being who we are. Yeah. Who we are is not good enough. They know who we are. So, of course, they want us to believe that we're not worth shit. Melanin alone. If you melanated, off the melanin, over 400 million in worth. Not including your organs.
That part.
You know? And y'all can look this up. This is real information. So they want us to believe that we're not worth shit. So of course, you know, it makes sense. So we're harboring guilt and shame in our heart spaces. Like we're holding on to lower frequencies, lower vibrations, which are frequencies that move super slow. They're dense. They're heavy. So you can only attract things that are on that same vibration.
It's not a good or bad thing.
Not a good or bad thing. It's just what it is.
Where you're at.
You know? And so now that manifests as not speaking up. You have a blocked throat chakra. You're not speaking up. You're not advocating for yourself. You're compromising your well-being. You're putting yourself in positions to be around people who don't feel good. Like,
this is personal experience coming up.
Yeah, this is what's going on with me, what I'm discovering. You know, but when you start to remove that blockage, you start to heal. Remember, in one area that you heal all areas. So as I'm healing my generational trauma, healing my womb trauma, healing my identity in my heart space, now I'm able to advocate for myself. Now I'm able to set healthy boundaries that says, no, I'm not going to position myself to be ridiculed or to ridicule somebody else. I'm not going to position myself to feel provoked. I'm not going to position myself to, you know, be around awkward situations because people are, you know, immersed in toxic positivity or that's still immersed in judgment. I'm not about to be around people who are judging themselves and judging me. I'm not doing that. And you can speak up for yourself and tell these people where you stand and your boundaries. And that's when the blockages have been removed. And then what happens is that now you're an open channel for receiving. You're open channel for receiving because you're actually releasing and letting go of things that don't serve you. So now being open to receiving means being present. That's the meaning of being open to receiving. It's just the art of being present. Because it's always there. The abundance is always there. The money is always there. The clients are always there. The desires are always there. The universe is always conspiring to support us. Our highest good is always there. But if we're not present to it, then how can we receive it? right?
Absolutely.
So now that I am present to the healing, present to, you know, what created the filter, what the dust bunnies on the filter, I'm able to remove it and be present to the miracles and the opportunities, which is happening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's happening real time.
Definitely is. And then I got two things I want to touch on.
Mm-hmm.
One thing is when you got to the heart space and you started talking, it was simultaneously, it was amazing that it harbored what had happened to us women, as you know, during our like kind of childhood phases. Some of us women who went through our childhood phases, and then it's almost kind of like simultaneously the generational like scars came out of that too. It's like there's like melanin and the high. It was just like, I'm seeing like, whoa, connection. Here we go. We literally tapped into the ancestral root. And then we're going through these present moments, in our present moments, through these same kind of cyclical cycles in present moment, but it's so richly tied into the past, which is not the past. It's like it's still happening. It's still going on. But anyways, that was awesome. Like you tied that into the heart space. Like there was so much like filtered into that heart space that we carry, and then also that we create. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
Which creates,
it's my story.
You tied it.
Our story.
Yeah, it's like it's the tying.
It's what I'm
like,
experiencing,
wow.
But it's obvious because we're all experiencing it. It's just happening with different people in different environments, different stimuli, but it's the same.
I'm just saying, because if you think about like the vision, or think it was a vision you had or a dream you had, that you were like the family that you had come from a long time ago. It's like, do you say a long time ago? It's just like recent past, I guess, because it's still the same thing until we become privy to it, and then it's like we're able to be shown, like you were shown like the like where you could remember where the sacral chakra even began, like got damaged in the first place, and that's in your lineage back in the day, like when you were with your rich family. It's wild.
Yeah, that regression that I had.
The regression, it was like, pop, pop, and you're like,
yeah, it was a dream, actually, not a regression. Well, shit, it was a regression dream. It happened in my dream.
Like a regression dream.
And I remembered it. Yeah, it was like generations ago.
We move forward, and it's like,
yeah, because this is me. I think up until this point right here, when I would hear the word ancestor, for some reason, I would only go back to like 400 years for some odd reason. I don't know if this is something I've always done or if this is something that we all do, but we have this short span of time to make us feel like, oh, our ancestry only began or created, like our ancestors are the slaves that they were talking about that happened 400 fucking years ago. I'm gonna catch that and I'm gonna reframe it. Wow. Like my ancestors are galactic, so no wonder how I was able to go back in dreams to lifetimes ago and heal this same exact womb trauma in this reality. That's wild. Yeah, so that is crazy. Yeah, your ancestors go farther than the slaves they teach you about in school, y'all. Like that slavery was a ploy. It was only 400 years old. Like there was so much more that happened in our lives than slavery. Yeah, so that was wild. Yeah,
so that basically you caught all of that within that heart space. That's what I'm just saying. That's why I was like, dang, she took it from there to your melanin's worth 400 million. Look this stuff up. I'm like, okay, she tied in it to ancestry too.
Well, in the beginning, you said like you wanted to go deep.
Yeah,
he was like, yeah,
that was awesome. That was awesome. And then the second thing I wanted to touch on was the realization of like, even moving through these moments, being present to God's hand and being present to your own manifestations. And in my reality, outside in the courtyard, I've always saw it as something more. when we first got the place. Like the expansion of this space has always been in my mind. Like I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. Ooh, if this would look good here, this would look good there. But in my tiny little mind, I'm really like literally not even in my heart space. My tiny little mind, my tiny little 12%, you know, only catches the fact that I want to do it.
Ego.
I want to be the one to do it. I want to be the one to transform it, and then getting frustrated and like bent the hell out of shape because it's like, oh, you get caught into that. I don't have this. I don't have that. I can't do this. I can't do that. Right? So you have all of these things in the way. And then next thing you know, like as time goes, you manifested like a male version of yourself that is in a small, tiny little Cuban man or Puerto Rican man, whether you're, it doesn't matter, but he's, you know, just a version of myself,
a male version of you,
a male version of myself. That's you know, saucy.
Yeah,
we're the same rising sign. I'm sorry, same sun sign, and he also likes beautiful things. He also makes sure that things look pretty, honey, because it's just appeasing to the eye. So the next thing you know, like the whole entire outdoor terrace is being transformed.
Has been transformed.
Is transformed. Has been, is. And every time, like when we were in this space, and it's like it was a surprise every single time. Coney felt surprised every single time.
It still happens
and then
today, y'all.
I'm experiencing what being surprised feels like by somebody else bringing into fruition
every day something new
into fruition. The manifestation that I had about this patio being done. And honey, I didn't have to lift a finger
at all
in order to see the presence of my manifestation.
Oh my goodness, Ashe.